Space Shuttle Discovery, the venerable veteran of America's human spaceflight fleet, proudly resting atop Launch Pad 39A here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, her wings outstretched and ready to soar into space for the 39th and final time. Shuttle Discovery is completing 27 years of service, the oldest space shuttle in the fleet, launching for the first time in August 1984 on mission 41D. And over the years, Discovery has achieved many notable accomplishments. In total, Discovery has spent 351 days in orbit, to be exact, 8,441 hours, 50 minutes, and 41 seconds. Orbited Earth 5,628 times, flown 246 crew members to date, docked to the Mir space station once, and to the International Space Station 12 times, with the 13th time upcoming. About 3.5 miles away from Discovery, launch controllers here in Kennedy's Launch Control Center Firing Room 4 are overseeing all the shuttle systems and verifying the step-by-step processes that will lead to an expected liftoff at 4:50 and 27 seconds p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, at this point, there are no technical issues that stand in the way of today's launch. And we're going to take a look at the crew suiting up, preparing for today's launch of Discovery on STS-133. And we're seeing Commander Steve Lindsay with one of the suit technicians assisting him into his ACES suit, or his launch and entry suit. Pilot Eric Bowe, he flew on STS-126. He is our pilot today. He's logged over 4,000 hours in 45 different aircraft. This is Alvin Drew, Mission Specialist 1. He's a colonel in the Air Force. Once again, we have an all-veteran crew. Alvin Drew flew on STS-118. He'll be one of our 2 spacewalkers on the mission. Mike Barrett, Mission Specialist number 3. He's a veteran of Expeditions 19 and 20 aboard the International Space Station. He spent 197 days aboard the space station and performed 2 spacewalks while he was there. Kennedy Space Center native Nicole Stott, who worked here processing shuttles for many years before becoming an astronaut. She's Mission Specialist 4, hometown of Clearwater, Florida. She flew 87 days on the International Space Station on Expeditions 20 and 21, and also performed a spacewalk of 6 hours and 39 minutes. And the newest member of the STS-133 crew, Steve Bowen, who replaced Tim Kopra after the unfortunate bicycle accident sidelined Tim Kopra. Steve is Mission Specialist 2. He logged 27 days in space with 5 spacewalks. He's a spaceflight veteran. And there we see Peggy Whitson, Jerry Ross, a number of other members of the NASA family helping to prepare today's astronaut crew for their mission to space. And here comes the crew of Space Shuttle Discovery. The STS-133 crew is walking out of their crew quarters in the Operations and Checkout building, followed by some of the astronaut management.
And here we have the crew walking out of crew quarters. This is a very historical walkway. It's the same path that the Apollo astronauts took to go to the moon. And over the last 30 years, there's been 133 odd shuttle crews that have walked out here to catch this bus for the exciting ride out to the launch pad. There you see them standing there just waving to the press and media and the crowd as they board the bus.
This has got to be an exciting moment.
It is, and you sit in the bus and it's an exciting moment, but you know, there is a certain amount of tension in the air, as you can imagine. It's a bit like first night jitters for an actor on a stage show, possibly. You know you're going to go on a great adventure, and it's about to start.
This view showing the convoy heading out to the pad, featuring the Astrovan.
There you can see some of the employees of the Kennedy Space Center waving to the crew and wishing them well. This is a great moment for the crew to feel a sense of camaraderie and excitement and spirit that the employees offer. You really get a sense that they're with you on this trip and that they're really behind you and really supportive of you and a great part of the team. Here you can see a camera view from the launch pad itself as the Astrovan is crossing the trackway, the crawler trackway that the crawler uses to deliver the whole shuttle assembly to the launch pad. The crew will step out of the Astrovan and you'll probably see them step back and look up, which is a little hard to do in the heavy suits that they have. But you get an opportunity to stand there and see the shuttle from a very unique perspective. The view itself is spectacular, but your perspective is particularly unique because you know that it is the ride that's going to take you out into orbit in that amazing 8.5-minute ride that it is capable of executing.
And here we see the flight crew.
Yeah, that's a good view of them walking along the edge of the flame trench to just have a look, do a visual pre-flight of their vehicle in preparation for the ride up the elevator. This is one advantage of launching in the cooler months in Florida, is that this is quite enjoyable to be out there. When you do this in the summer months in those suits, it can get quite hot.
Can imagine that.
There you can see the crew having a group hug and a little quiet moment for themselves to consolidate their thoughts. Wish each other well, and then it's back to work.
And we are at T-minus 2 hours, 20 minutes, 28 seconds and counting as we see Commander Steve Lindsay entering Space Shuttle Discovery. First member to enter traditionally is the commander, and astronaut support person Kay Heyer will assist him into his seat, help configure his communications gear. And not too long from now, we'll be opening up the communications links and we'll be able to hear Steve Lindsay speak to the Launch Control Center and to Mission Control in Houston. Okay, and handshakes as Mike Barrett prepares to enter Shuttle Discovery on the middeck.
Mike Barrett on board at this time.
And that's OVCC Travis Thompson announcing that Barrett has passed the threshold and is now in the crew module.
1839 GMT. PC copied. OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. TLT Bo on board at this time. Copy that. GMT of 1849.
And I see pilot Bo sliding feet first through the interdeck access onto the flight deck, where he'll be assisted into his PLT seat. Here's a good shot from the window looking left across the flight deck as he comes up to his seat. That's the parachute laying down on top of the seat at the moment.
So the parachute is already in place.
Yes, we put the parachutes on the seat first, and then we put a harness on the crewman, and now he's being assisted up into his seat. He's got to get his feet around the hand controller and stick his feet in the footwell. And I see the chute has moved a little. The chute is on a Teflon sheet that allows it to move around, so they can get the chute right where they want it. Then they pull that Teflon sheet out, and the Velcro sticks, and it stays put.
Nicole giving a sign to her family and preparing to board Space Shuttle Discovery.
OTC of VCC. Good OVCC. Nicole Stott on board at this time. All right, that's MS1, and that time GMT is 1910.
And Nicole will be going into seat 3 behind the pilot on the flight deck behind them. And Nicole Stott will be seated in seat 4 during entry, doing the flight engineer duties that Tim Coper had been previously assigned.
Houston, MS1, contact.
MS1 Houston, we read you loud and clear. Good afternoon, Nicole.
And we can see Alvin Drew, who just entered the hatch, making his way into seat number 4.
TMQC, that's complete step 617, NA for the MS5 slot. TMQC copied.
NTD, this is SRO on 212.
Right, SRO?
Range status is no-go at this time. Central command remoting system is partially operational. When selecting a screen, the string will go down. And they experienced this event last night, had confidence in the system as long as they didn't select that screen, that we were confident in the system. However, the same event was experienced when selecting a different screen. They are not confident in the system at this time, and range status is no-go.
Discovery Launch Director, head of Ground 1.
Go for Discovery.
Okay, Steve, I don't know how much you've been following this, but the range is having a little bit of an issue with their range safety command system, the display of their command system, and they're talking it actively over there. Hopeful that we'll get through it. Not quite sure if we will yet or not, but the right people are working on it. So we're going to take this one on down to the wire. We'll go through our polls here and take you on down to 5 minutes and see if we can't get you a good flight today.
Sounds like a great plan, Mike.
This is Shuttle Launch Control. 5 minutes remaining in our hold at T-minus 9 minutes.
This is the NTD conducting the launch status check. All stations verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC, OTC go. TBC, TBC go. PTC, PTC's go. LPS, LPS is go. Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
Mila, Mila's go. STM, STM is go. Safety console.
Safety consoles go.
STE, STE is go. LRD, LRD is go. SRO.
SRO is no-go.
Copy, you go to 5 minutes and hold.
Yes, we are good to go 5 minutes and hold.
Copy. And CDR. Discovery is go. Launch Director NTD.
Yes, sir.
Our launch team is ready to proceed. SRO has concurrence to go to 5 minutes.
Okay, copy all that. I'll do my polls this time. KC Chief Processing Engineer, verify no constraints to launch.
No constraints.
Thank you, Steve. KC Safety and Mission Assurance.
KSC Safety and Mission Assurance is go pending resolution of the range issue.
Copy. Payload Launch Manager.
Mike, the space station processing teams go.
Copy. Range Weather.
Weather has no constraints for launch.
Copy, thank you, Kathy. And Ops Manager.
Copy, Mike. On our side, MMT's in really good shape. Vehicle's looking perfect. Weather's looking great. We'll stand by here and see if the range can resolve their issue, but we are go.
Okay, copy that, and we'll take it on down to 5 and see if we can't get there.
Yeah, it's a good plan, Mike. Let's keep going.
And KC Safety and Mission Assurance.
KSC Safety and Mission Assurance.
Let's see, if we get the go from SRO, you're going to be go. Is that affirmed? We don't have to re-poll you.
Mike. Yes, we are go.
Right, so we will not re-poll you if we get a go from SRO.
That's affirmative.
Thank you, sir.
Concur.
Once again, we will come out of the hold at T-minus 9 minutes. We will count down to T-minus 5 minutes. Between now and then, if the range safety system condition is corrected, we will continue to count down for launch. If not, we will hold at 5 minutes.
GLS is go for orbiter access arm retract. And Discovery OTC from the processing team of Discovery to the crew of Discovery. Enjoy the ride.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the work you did getting this ready to go, and appreciate all your work. And for those watching, get ready to witness the majesty and the power of Discovery as she lifts off one final time.
Countdown clock is holding at T-minus 5 minutes due to manual request.
Countdown clock is holding here.
5 here, well, we troubleshoot our Eastern Range Central Command reporting system issue.
2 minutes and 48 seconds of hold time remain in today's launch window of Space Shuttle Discovery.
Ops Manager on 212.
Go ahead.
I got verbal confirmation from the 45th Wing Commander. We are go, and we do not need SROs go, so I would like you to proceed.
Copy that. NTD, with that verification that the range will support today's launch, you need to press on. Pick up the clock on your mark.
Copy that. And SRO NTD, need to put this your hold switch to proceed position.
40 seconds remaining in our launch window. Range is go.
GLS, has the SRO hold been removed? Negative, sir. SRO NTD. NTD, I can remove the hold here at the bypass.
SRO on 212.
So needed to put your hold switch in proceed position.
Hold fire on proceed.
Please, GLS, can you verify? GLS verifies.
15 seconds remaining in our hold.
Copy. Inspection on it will pick up momentarily. CGLS, pick up the clock on your mark. GLS copies. 3, 2, 1, mark. T-minus 5 minutes.
T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
TLT, OTC, perform APU start.
TLT in work.
And CDI, OTC, reconfigure heaters.
Copy in work.
T-minus 4 minutes, 41 seconds and counting. All systems are go and weather is green. Final test of the flight control surfaces is underway. This is a pre-programmed pattern of movements designed to verify the readiness of the flight control surfaces, the elevons, speed brakes, and rudder.
OTC, TLT, no unexpected errors.
The gaseous oxygen vent hood, or beanie cap, is slowly being retracted away from the top of the external tank.
Close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
Copy on work.
Orbiter test conductor John Craxton requesting pilot Eric Bowe clear the caution and warning memory system.
GLS is go for auto sequence start.
And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. 20 seconds. The sound suppression water system
15.
has been activated, protecting Discovery and the launch pad from acoustical energy waves.
Go for main engine.
Go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery. A tribute to the dedication, hard work, and pride of America's space shuttle team. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Discovery.
This is Mission Control Houston. The space shuttle now rolling over onto its back with a 10-minute ride into orbit. Discovery now making one last reach for the stars. Throttling down as the orbiter passes through the area of maximum pressure, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it goes supersonic.
Discovery Houston, you are go at throttle up.
Commander Steve Lindsay acknowledging the call from Capcom Charlie Hobaugh as Discovery's 3 main engines throttle back up. Lindsay is joined on the flight deck by pilot Eric Bowe and mission specialist Al Drew and Nicole Stott. Mission Specialist Mike Barrett and Steve Bowen. Discovery's 3 main engines are burning fuel at a rate that would drain an average swimming pool in about 25 seconds. The engines, combined with the solid rocket boosters, produce more than 7 million pounds of thrust. 1 minute, 50 seconds into the flight, we're standing by for separation of the twin solid rocket boosters. Discovery now traveling 2,695 miles an hour. Its altitude 24 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 29 miles. Booster separation confirmed. Discovery's guidance is now converging as the shuttle's onboard computers fine-tune the flight. Two minutes, 25 seconds into the flight, Discovery traveling 3,189 miles an hour. Its altitude 37 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 53 miles. Discovery now getting a boost into orbit from its twin orbital maneuvering system engines on either side of the shuttle's tail. These 2 engines will burn for 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Your 2-engine TAL. We do have updates to your NOCOM mode boundaries, and we did launch late into Pane 1, our only pane. The contingency aboard boundaries we'll use are in-plane plus 230. Let me know when you're ready to copy the new Presta ATO and Presta MECO.
Discovery's engines are now swiveling to roll the shuttle to a heads-up position to get better communication with NASA's tracking satellites.
Discovery, your single-engine Zaragoza 104.
Single-engine Zaragoza 104.
Discovery can now make it to emergency landing sites in Europe should 2 engines fail at this point, but the flight continues to go well. 6 minutes, 24 seconds into the flight, the shuttle traveling 9,800 miles an hour. Its altitude 67 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 447 miles.
MECO, BIM for you, nominal shutdown on all 3, and Pinto, you'll be go for the plus X and go for the pitch. Discovery, we saw nominal MECO, ohms 1 not required, preliminary TIG for ohms 2, 3730. Welcome to you and your veteran crew back to space.
Copy, no ohms 1 required, 3730 preliminary TIG, and thanks a lot. Good to be here.
This camera view is from inside the payload bay. At the forward end of the payload bay on the port side, it's known as Camera A. The orbiter docking system is in the lower left-hand corner of the frame. As we see first the starboard side, the payload bay door swinging open. Beyond the orbiter docking system that's in the lower left-hand side of our frame, if you look aft in the payload bay, you see the other payloads, including the Express Logistics Carrier, and then beyond it, the Permanent Multipurpose Module, formerly known as the Multipurpose Logistics Module Leonardo. As the portside payload bay doors open, you can see just a bit of the Space Shuttle's robotic arm there in the lower right-hand corner of the frame, heading back toward the left side ohms pod and the vertical stabilizer of Shuttle Discovery. Payload bay doors opened at 5:27 Central Time this afternoon as Discovery was flying above the state of Texas.
BIM, we see a good cryo config. Thank you.
Copy that. Thank you.
And BIM, can you also tell us, we may have missed it with all of our dropouts earlier, but if you guys are finished with the payload bay floodlights, can you confirm that they have been turned off?
They have not been turned off yet. We can turn them off now if you're ready for that.
We're ready, but it's whenever you're completed with them.
Copy. Taking them off now.
And just like that, the floodlights on board Discovery in the payload bay turned off as the crew gets their spaceship in the proper configuration for the overnight period while they sleep. The floodlights turned on in order to conserve the cryogenic components that are used to generate power on board the station. The light that we do see in this view is coming from an imminent sunrise. Discovery is now 143 miles above the southern end of Africa, just north of Johannesburg. And as we can see, just moments away from an orbital sunrise as they fly over the Indian Ocean.